All right, today we're going to unpack a really fascinating modern parable. It uses all this language you'd recognize, like apps and system updates, to talk about the hidden forces that can kind of shape our daily habits. It's really a story about a user, a system, and the fight to take back control. Okay, so let's just dive right in. We actually start this story not on Earth, but in this place that feels like, I don't know, the inside of a dead server rack. It's just a cold, digital void. And this place, it's basically mission control for a master plan. And believe me, the stakes are about as high as they get. So this is where we meet the architects of the whole operation, Serpent and the Tempter. You can just picture them, watching humanity through these endless screens of data streams. And they're just about to roll out their next big project, a system they've dubbed feminism. So what's the big idea with feminism? Well, the crucial point is their goal. They want to convince all of us that we're nothing more than biological machines. See, if people believe their experiences are just, brain chemistry, they become way, way easier to control. The system's entire purpose is to swap out our own natural energy with an artificial substitute. And this, right here, just brilliantly lays out their whole strategy. They're going to use caffeine, something that seems totally harmless, to create dependency. Then they'll weave it into our daily rituals, like at work, and promise this temporary hit of godlike power. But here's the genius part. They'll get humans to spread the system for them through our own culture. Memes, hashtags, the whole shebang. All right, so now let's jump down to earth and see how this system actually gets installed on an unsuspecting user. And this is where we meet our main character, an 8th grader named Abby. And Abby is, she's a totally normal kid. She's dealing with all the everyday stress of homework, social media, thinking about high school. And that exact feeling, that feeling of being completely overwhelmed, it makes her the perfect target for a system that's promising a quick, easy energy boost. So one day, she's in a cafe with her friends and she tries black coffee for the very first time. It's bitter, but then the rush hits. She feels that immediate pulse of energy and she jokes, "Hey, I could use this to survive math class." Seems like such an innocent moment, right? But what's really happening is on a whole other level, an unseen layer. That first sip isn't just a taste of a new drink. No, it's an app installation. It's the opening handshake with a new program running in her nervous system. Feminism version 1.0 is now officially installed. So the app is now running in the background. But, like any piece of buggy software, it doesn't take long before the user starts to notice some pretty serious glitches in the system. Her morning routine, it kinda quietly upgrades itself. All of a sudden, coffee goes from being this new thing she tried to an absolute necessity. It becomes this non-negotiable step 4, a system requirement she never, ever remembers agreeing to install. And with that new artificial energy comes a new voice in her head. It's darker, sharper. A presence that's constantly pushing her to keep using the system. It whispers to her that she needs this to keep being that energetic, vibrant person she's starting to rely on. Pretty soon, the bill for all that borrowed energy starts to come due. Emotionally, she's anxious, she's jittery, quick to anger. Mentally, her focus starts to glitch out. Physically, she's getting headaches, and her body just feels like a lagging video. The system is draining her real resources, and that dark inner voice is always there to taunt her whenever she starts to struggle. Her internal conflict basically becomes this full-blown battle between two different voices. One voice, the agent of the system, is demanding another cup. But then there's another voice, a softer one, that starts to get a little louder, urging her to disconnect from all the noise and just reconnect with herself. And this internal battle, this tug of war, it brings Abby to a critical realization. She's not just tired or stressed out. She's a user who's trapped inside a faulty system. And now, for the first time, she understands that she actually has a choice to make. In a moment of just quiet reflection, she has this incredible insight. She realizes the caffeine is making her mind like a browser with 40 tabs open. It's brilliant, right? The system isn't just hijacking her energy, it's literally blocking her from connecting with her own deeper thoughts and feelings. She also starts to see the system's long-term plan, the whole end game. She recognizes the pattern. Caffeine is just a gateway. It's designed to make her chase bigger and bigger thrills when the current fix eventually stops working. And she realizes she doesn't want to be a user in someone else's system anymore. And this is the question. This is the one that cuts right to the heart of the entire thing. It's not about whether coffee is good or bad anymore. It's about autonomy. It forces Abby to finally confront the fact that, for a while now, she hasn't been the one in control. So she begins the process of reclaiming her own system. And she doesn't try to just crash it all at once. That would be too much. Instead, she starts reprogramming herself with these small, deliberate actions, swapping one coffee for tea, doodling in a journal, trying just 5 minutes of quiet breathing. Each one is like a tiny act of rebellion. So the crucial takeaway here is in that final choice. When she walks past the cafe, it's not just about avoiding a drink, it's about quietly ending one tiny subscription to fainism. It is a single act of defiance, but that single act is everything. It's one user beginning the long, hard process of taking back control. It may not be the whole war, but you know what? It's a start.